Joining me now from the past administration, Chad Wolf, former acting Secretary of Homeland Security under President Trump. Chad, you broke it, and it was your problem. That's what she's saying.
We've heard this statement time and time again over the last 9 to 10 months about how it was a broken immigration system. I would say that they actually did flip a switch. They flipped a switch in the first month of this administration and completely tore down effective policies and procedures that were working. They broke the system. They have no idea how to fix it. They have no plan to fix it. And I think that's pretty evident by, the largest and the most dire border crisis that we have seen in our lifetime.
Department of Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas was pressed if the Biden administration has more control over the border than Trump. And here's what he said. Chad.
You think we have more control over the border now than we did under Trump?
Senator, we're very focused on the number.
That's not the question. Do you think we have more control over the border now than we did under the last administration?
I think we have more control that is consistent with our values as a nation.
What does that mean? It's wide open, and it's the way they want it. Consistent with their values that they don't enforce the laws of the land and let people just stream in across the border?
Well, that's just it. Again, I don't think that they continue not to be honest and transparent with the American people. This is the same administration, the same secretary that talks about how the border is closed, the border is secure, and it's anything but that. And now they're talking about more control over that border than what we had during the Trump administration, consistent with our values. I'm not really sure what that means. DHS is there to enforce the law as it's written by Congress. They're not there to be activists. They're not there to make sure that folks coming into the country illegally can do so in an effective way. They should actually be trying to deter that illegal behavior. So I think their priorities are completely backwards, and I think that you can see that not only by the statements that the secretary's made, but just by their policies and what we see on the border every day.
Well, and their policies and their approval ratings, because their approval ratings continue to head lower and lower and lower because they will enact a policy, do something that delivers a poor result, then take no responsibility for it, and then turn to blame somebody else. So we've seen it with the border. In Afghanistan, they blamed the Afghanistan army and said, oh, well, Trump is forcing us out of Afghanistan. They've done it with inflation. Now they're blaming using demagoguery to not take accountability and blaming the oil companies and the food producers for it. So how much worse does it get at the border, Chad?
Well, I think you're exactly right. They refuse to take any responsibility for almost any of their actions. It seems as though, whether you're talking about the border, Afghanistan, or any of these others, they want change, but they have no idea really what that change is. They just want it for the sake of change, but they have no plan in place to address inflation, to address the chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan, or how to fix the border at the end of the day. This is going to continue to get worse when we talk about the border unless they put effective enforcement policies in place that deter this behavior. They don't seem to be capable of doing it, and I think you're going to continue to see numbers rise throughout the winter and into next year until they get serious about enforcing the law.
And their policies, their open border policy, is directly contributing to human suffering and death. Drug overdose deaths have hit 100,000 annually for the very first time, driven by fentanyl. So this is not just a drug overdose, this is a fentanyl poisoning. And border agents have seized more than 33,000 pounds of drugs in the first month of fiscal year 2022. And they're doing nothing to stop this, Chad.
Well, it's quite remarkable. I mean, at the end of the day, this is about human trafficking, and this is about illegal narcotics coming across that border. And instead of cracking down on the cartels, instead of enforcing the law, what this administration is doing, because of their policies that are in place today, the cartels reportedly are making up to $14 million a day. And so what are they going to do? They're going to continue to smuggle individuals. They're going to continue to smuggle that illegal narcotics that are killing Americans every single day, not only along that border, but throughout the country. So, this is what happens when you open the border. You not only, have individuals coming in, but you also have bad people, cartels, MS-13 gang members, and other national security concerns coming into this country. So it's a complete disaster. They need to find a different approach. but it's not going to happen overnight, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that's why the Western States Sheriff's Association, sheriffs from 17 states put out a position of no confidence in DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, calling on President Biden to remove him and replace him with someone who will actually enforce the rule of law. But if you've got Biden and Harris in the two top jobs, do you see that happening?
Probably not, but it's important. I mean, these are the sheriffs that are, along the border, that are out west, that are seeing the impact on their community, and they're saying enough is enough. They've been saying that. I think it's a bold step to say, look, there needs to be new leadership at the department, someone that's going to come in and actually enforce the law. But you're exactly right. This starts at the White House. And if the White House can replace one person and just put in someone else that, again, is not going to enforce the law, I'm not sure things are going to change. I think Congress needs to demand better. The American people need to demand better. And we need to see some leadership, both from the White House, but also from the department.
In the meantime, every fentanyl poisoning death is at their doorstep. Chad Wolf, thank you so much. Great to see you. Please come back.